Hi. Happy Tuesday. Hope you're having a great week. I'm so excited to talk to you today about money anchors and how to create one for your business, especially because in 1 week, next Monday, we're starting a fresh challenge, Income Ceiling Breakthrough. And I don't quite cover this. And so before we dive into next week's challenge, I think helping you get clear and create a money anchor is going to be so useful to you as you dive in for breaking through your income ceiling. So, hey, I am so excited to be live with you today. If you're catching the replay, please do hashtag replay. Say hey to me, ask me any questions. You know that I love hanging out with you. Oh my goodness, you guys, I was sick this last weekend. I had the flu. And I thought I made it out of the clear because my kids actually had the flu last week. And I was so proud. I was like washing my hands, like made it through. And then like Sunday, it like hit me like a bus. So grateful. It was just a 24-hour thing and feeling definitely on the mend. But it's like one of those things where you start just feeling grateful for like everyday life again. Like, I'm just so grateful, like sitting here with my clients. I'm so grateful. Like, do you ever have that, right? It's like when you have like a bad kink in your neck, and then like when your neck starts working again, you're just like, I'm so thankful for a neck, right? So grateful for that. If you're joining me live, say hey to me. I'd love to say hey to you. But I want to talk to you about and teach you how to create a money anchor today because, as I shared in my last email, I kind of income plateaued for about 2 years before last month I broke through and hit my highest cash month yet, which was 39K. Yay! This month I'm also on track to hit the same or beat that, which is amazing. But what's more amazing is for the 2 years in my business prior to last month, before I hit my income ceiling breakthrough, I feel like I did a lot of things right. I did a lot of things wrong too. Hi, Caitlin. Happy Tuesday. But what I want to help you, whatever income ceiling you're at, whether it's $1,000, whether it's $10,000, whether you're hitting 20K months and you're ready to start bringing in 50K months, I don't care what your income ceiling is, but I find that a lot of my clients, right, get to a place where you're at a ceiling and I want to help you break through it. And I think this is going to be so effective because it's actually a brand new challenge that I just wrote fresh off of some of the insights I had last month from breaking through that income ceiling. So I'm going to share 4 days of it's mostly money mindset, some practical strategy, but mostly money mindset. And so if you register for the challenge, you'll get 4 days of emails, number one. And then also I'll be going live at noon PST Monday through Thursday next week. So glad that I got sick this last weekend and not next weekend so that I can feel like I'm feeling so much better. I'm feeling like 85%, but I'm sure that by next week I'll be feeling 100%. But so excited next week to talk through that and really give you 4 practical, like they're pretty meaty emails. And so you're going to want to make sure you register to get them. And almost like 4 little, it's most of my challenges, you have to do a lot of like execution a lot of action after you read the email. But this challenge is a little bit different. You don't have a ton of action you need to take because it's a lot of mindset shifting, right? But what I do want you to do is prioritize 10 minutes to read the email. Okay, does that make sense? Because that is what I think is going to start shifting things for you in your mind so that you can take action in your business differently. Does that make sense? So it's less of like, I also love, like, I have a visibility boost challenge, right? Where like you actually have to take a lot of action and like get visible online. This one's a little different where the action you're going to take is a little bit more in your mind, which, as we know, is like what changes the game every time. But I want you to make sure you read through every single one of those 4 emails. I don't care if you read through them one each day. I don't care if you have a busy week and you read through them all on Thursday, but make time in your calendar next week to read through those income ceiling breakthrough emails, that series, ideally in that order. And it really is going to prep you for your next breakthrough of your income. So let me know if you're going to join me for that challenge. I'm so excited for that. Again, it's a brand new challenge. I just wrote it, and it's all set to go. I'm so excited. But today I want to talk to you a little bit about prep work for that challenge, and that's creating a money anchor. This is something that I've done in my business for a really long time and has really served me. And so if you've never created a money anchor, buckle your seatbelt. This is going to be really exciting. And then also just want to talk a little bit later too about like changes, because I think like when we're in a season of our business where we are either breaking through an income ceiling or before we have broken through, it requires a lot of change. And I think in the online space, we don't do a lot of normalizing around like the entrepreneurs that are growing the fastest are actually enduring a lot of hard change. And that doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong. It actually means you're doing something right. However, if we're not in connect, like I know that because I mentor a ton of entrepreneurs. And so I'm seeing in all their businesses that they're right before big breakthroughs, they're having hard challenges. And I'm like, you're doing the right thing, right? But if we don't have a lot of like business peers, or we don't have a mentor that's like normalizing that for us and like in the shiz with us, it can be really hard to navigate those transitions. And so then we see a challenge, we back down from it, and then we keep plateauing, right? Because we're like, oh, this is hard. This isn't ease. The entrepreneurship talks about, so I'm going to back off of it. And so I'm going to keep plateauing instead of really, this is like bad news slash good news. A lot of change comes from not like leaning back, but like leaning forward. And like they say, like the way out is through. Right? I'm going to say that again. The way out is through, not avoiding it, not pulling back, not shying away from, not like putting our head under the sand. Like, I hope this problem solves itself and goes away. No, like standing in your power and authority as like the CEO boss babe you are, right? I know some people don't like that word. I actually don't mind it because I'm like, you are a boss and you are a babe. So there you go, right? But standing in that power and that authority and being like, I can face it, right? And usually when we face it, it actually goes faster than we realize. Like in the middle of the challenge, it doesn't feel like fast, right? It feels like this is taking freaking forever. But like on the other side of it, you're like, oh my gosh, in like 3 months, I literally turned my business around. Oh my gosh, in 3 months, I doubled my income. Oh my gosh, in 3 months, I'm like way happier of a human than I used to be, right? Like in the small picture, you feel like this is eternity. In the big picture, looking back when you're an 80-year-old woman, right, or human, you're like, wow, I'm so glad I leaned into the challenge. Caitlin says all the challenges, yes. Like those emojis are perfect. The sick face and the celebration. Like that's just it to a T, right? But like think about this. When you're an 80-year-old human, you're going to look back and be like, 3 months? 3 months for that much change? Of course, right? But in the moment, it does not feel good, right? Okay, I don't know how I got on that tangent. Let's get back to money anchors. Oh, transitions. So one of the transitions I made in my business recently, because we got the trademark for Heart-Centered Entrepreneur, yay, our URL is changed already. Lindsay, who I'm going to tag in the email this week, did a great job. Highly recommend her if you need tech stuff, by the way. She is like a tech whiz. I'll drop her URL in here. But she did it all for us. And so now my website is heartcenteredentrepreneur.com. So excited. AnnaFranzen.com still redirects if you forget, or if you're a client and you have like a short link to my Zoom room, like don't worry, all that still works. But that's the URL, right? And that is a beautiful, brilliant change. And I'm so excited about. However, there was like challenges along the way. But this is the thing. Challenges don't affect you so much when you're locked in on your goal. Right? And that's why I won't look good. This is a good tie-in. I didn't think this would tie in, but it is going to tie in. So I'm so grateful. We're going to talk about money anchors and locking in. When you create a money anchor, really you're locking in on an income goal. And I know like there's controversial opinions about this, right? And some of my clients do better when they get clear on like a client goal. Like I want to get fully booked with 10 clients, right? Oh man, I'm feeling a little nauseous again. I hope I last. Or some clients get better on an income goal. So I'm not trying to make the client goal wrong, especially if you're at the start of your business. If you haven't hit 6 figures in your business yet, or even like consistent 5K months, sometimes it is more useful to say, I want to get fully booked, to say, I want to get 10 clients. But for my clients that are like past the 6-figure mark, money goals I find are useful. Because when you have a business that is like at least at 80K, 6 figures, 200,000 beyond, getting clear and locked in on the money goal is helpful because you can be a little less detached on like which program that comes from or which client that comes from. Because usually by the time you're making 6 figures in your business, you have multiple clients, you have lots of clients, and you often have more than one program, right? And so what getting clear on a money goal does is it lets you detach a little bit from which client, which service, right? A little bit less of that. And so I do think that no matter where you're at in your business, whether it's the very beginning or you're more advanced, it can be good to get into the edge of having a clear money goal and also not making yourself wrong if you don't meet the money goal. So the podcast episode this week is called I don't remember what it's called, but it's on goals. And basically, like, I do a little rant about goals and the fact that a lot of times we shy away from like setting aggressive goals because we make it mean something wild about ourselves if we don't meet them. Like, I'm a bad entrepreneur, there's something wrong with me, or I didn't meet it this month, so I'm never going to meet it, right? Like, go listen to me rant about that on the podcast number 1. That's important, right? But once we have that like self-worth stuff taken care of, right? Usually the reason we shy away from goals is because we're like, if we don't meet the goal, it'll make me unworthy or unsafe. One of those two things, right? However, let's just say we have that taken care of and like you're fine with setting money goals. Once you are, setting a money anchor just means you get clear on what that money intention is. What is that breakthrough, right? Usually it's whatever income mark you've never surpassed before, right? So if you've never gone past a 5K month, that likely is your money anchor for your breakthrough, right? If you've like plateaued at 20K months and you've never hit a 25K month, a 30K month, that likely is your money anchor. Like, you don't even have to get fancy with it, right? Like, it's just, what haven't you broken through before? What's been your high last? Even if it's like 0, right? I don't care what it is, right? But getting clear on like 1K month, right? 20K month, 50K month, right? I don't care what it is, but can you get clear on it in your head? And if you don't know off the top of your head, like, go back and look at your numbers and get clear, right? What's that income that you haven't broken past before? And how can you lock in on, well, duh, I'm going to pass it, even if it feels like, how am I even going to do that? I'm about strategy, right? And we can get clear on the strategies. But before, I think we just need to lock in on like, yes, it's possible for me. And yes, it's inevitable, right? And here's the tricky part. And I'm going to stick in it, whether that income goal gets blown out of the water next month or in 5 years. And like, hear me say this. I don't want it to take 5 years for you to break through your income ceiling. That's not what I'm saying. But like, I want you to show up with the energy of like, I don't care how long it takes. I'm breaking through this income ceiling. Does that make sense? And for me, I really did feel like I plateaued-ish for about 2 years in my business at like lucky problems, right? I plateaued at like a very high income. But I do feel like I kind of plateaued in my income for about 2 years-ish, maybe a little bit less. And I feel like one thing that made that so much less miserable and why in a lot of people's mind, like, it's pretty quick, right, is because I was so locked in. I was like, I don't care. I'll show up for 10 years. Right. And I think the beautiful thing is it's just remembering, I was sharing this, in part of the challenge emails next week too, but remember, you can like quantum leap, right? Like, let's say you're like affirming to yourself, I'm going to finally break through and start hitting 20K months, right? Maybe you're at 10K months, you want to break through the 20K months, right? And you're affirming that, and you're waiting, and it's months and months and months, and you're not seeing it happen. Even though you're hitting for 20K months, you might hit all the way through to 30K month first, right? Or you may be at a higher level and break through. So it's just remembering, like, set that intention. And I always say to myself, like, this or something better, right? This or something better, like this or something even better. But I think like that first step again is just like getting clear on like, what is that income level you've never broken through, and getting so locked in on the fact that like, duh, you're going to break through it. Duh. Yes. And again, showing up with the energy of like, I don't care how long it takes. I certainly hope it happens next week, but I'm going to show up even if it takes a year for me to break through this. And I think that like energy of like showing up with, I'm going to do it, period, is what makes it happen fast. Like, that's kind of the mind twist, right? When we're in it for the long game, that's when we get fast results, right? I think in my business, the reason I've got results so quickly is because I am like 100% in it for the long game. And I think when you show up with that energy, there's like kind of like a relaxation and an ease that helps the results happen faster, which I know as well, because you're like, I want the results to happen fast. But I think it's like, I want the results to happen fast, but I'm willing for it to take a while because I don't care. I'm in it. I'm showing up. Do you see, like, I have my hands on my hips. Like, do you see that energy? Like, how can you bring more of that energy to your goal of like, well, that's going to happen in 100%. I'm going to show up until it does, because I'm someone that shows up for myself, right? My guess is that you're someone that shows up for other people. You show up for your clients, you show up for your partner, you show up for your kids, you show up for like the person down the street that needs your help, right? But like, how about you show up for yourself with that same dedication, that same energy, that same self-trust, right? I'm showing up for myself until it happens, duh, right? And if you don't yet have that energy, like, just watch this replay a few times until you can like adopt some of that, right? Okay, back to money anchors. Let's talk about money anchors. So you've gotten clear on like what that amount is that you want to break through, right? Next, I want you to set an anchor, which just means you put it somewhere that you see frequently. One of my favorite ways to do this, you guys know that I do a daily check-in, right? So I write my affirmations every day-ish. Sometimes I skip, but I try to do it like 85% of the time. We're all friends, we can be honest here, right? So 85% of the time, I'm writing my affirmation, my money affirmation. It's not wrong to have a money affirmation. It's not wrong to talk about money. It's good to talk about money. Like, let's normalize talking about money, right? You're writing your money affirmation down every day, every day, every day, every day, every day, right? I also like to have my password be my money goal, right? In kind of like a cryptic way with like some capitalized and explanation points so that obviously it's like a safe password, right? But getting clear on it, writing it in my daily affirmations, if you do those, writing it as my password. And you're like, well, I don't want to change my password. That's a pain. Well, you should be changing your passwords frequently anyway, right? It's not that much of a pain. Just do it. It's like when people say, like, it's a pain. I keep scrolling on Instagram, but it's a pain to like delete social media off my phone. Just do it. Just do hard things. It's not that hard, right? And then putting a sticky note on your wall. Do whatever you need to visualize. One of the times when I like set a big income goal too, I even like use Canva to like change what my bank account said so I could like visualize what it would look like to have that amount of money in my bank account. And anything you can do to really get a visual, I think is really powerful for your mind to see that like, oh, this is actually possible for me because it is. I want you to think about a minute, a wild money goal. A wild money goal that you have. Maybe it's like a wild amount in savings or buying something or donating a certain amount to a charity, right? Or like what feels like a wild amount to you. Like I want you to realize that that's actually possible and it's not that wild, right? When we make these money goals a little bit less wild, then it makes it more doable and then it makes it easier to take the action to get there. Does that make sense? So I want you to, where was I? Put that money goal everywhere and work on it and leave it there and repeat it as many times as you need to until it happens, right? Again, like in the challenge this week, we're going to dive more into the nitty gritty about some of the mindset shifts and a little bit of the strategy to get there. But I think first it's just like locking in on that number and being willing to go after it and being willing to say that this is a priority for me. I don't know about you, but I usually have like a few affirmations. I usually have like an affirmation for my business. I mean, I have a lot of affirmations on my fridge. How many do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I have 9 affirmations on my fridge. But usually a few are business ones, a few are mama ones, right? A few are personal ones. A few are like friendship related. So it's like, give yourself permission. I love having affirmations that cover like all the areas of my life and not just my business. I actually think it helps me grow my business because like when I'm thriving as a human, and again, like I'm a little bit less attached to like my business always being perfect or my business always being happy. Just like I don't expect my kids to always be perfect or make me happy. I think we like expect our business to like always be perfect. Always, no, my business, I'm grateful for it, but it's not perfect, but like who cares? I don't need it to be, right? And so when we like focus on all of our life with our affirmations, I think it puts out this beautiful energy and really helps us in a big way get results in all the areas. So create your money anchor. Let me know in the comments if you're going to be creating a fresh money anchor for yourself this week. Give me a yes. And then if you'd like to start doing it this week, that way next week when we start with the challenge, you'll already be clear on what the goal is. Because I don't really cover that in the challenge. I'm kind of like assuming you're coming in with a clear goal, a clear objective of what the breakthrough is that you're trying to achieve. And then we're going to go after it hard, right? Hard, but like with a beautiful lean back energy. You know, I'm a believer in that. And also just like permission to do that, right? To go after something, but also like be trusting. But let me know if you're going to be getting clear on your beautiful money goal. And then what was I going to say? And then I want you to actually put it somewhere. So before the challenge starts, AKA this week, I want you to actually change your password. I want you to actually put a sticky note. I want you to put it on your fridge. And if any discomfort comes up, you're just going to let the discomfort be there. Right? You guys know I'm a huge believer in like discomfort management. Like a lot of times what life is about, we're either like life is full of change, right? If you are rapidly growing in your business, you're going to have a lot of change. But even if you're not rapidly growing in your business or your life, you're going to experience change because change is inevitable and change is unavoidable. Sorry if that's like good/bad news. So we might as well, if we're going to like have life change anyway, might as well have it be the change that grows us, right? Anyway, change happens, right? So we do one of two things when change happens. We either numb, right? And we avoid and we buffer, right? As Brooke Castillo says, or we, what was the, dang it, I lost my train of thought. What's the opposite? I don't remember what I was going to say. We either avoid, we numb, we buffer, or we manage our discomfort. You're like, what else do we do? We manage our discomfort and not even cope, right? Like in the like therapy world, we use a lot of like coping tools, and like coping is fine. But I think it's also just like, yeah, I mean, it is kind of a coping, but like managing your discomfort, right? How do you make discomfort normal? And this is different. I have a different podcast episode that says like escape survival mode that talks about it's different. If you're noticing like a certain facet of your life, like your a relationship or your business, or like is continually like you have this like gut check intuition feeling something's wrong, that's different, right? Talking about like the good type of hard that you know is actually moving the needle forward. You know what I mean? And if you are doing that good type of change that's moving the needle forward, right, we have the option to either numb out, whether it's with social media, whether it's with alcohol, right, whatever it is that you use to numb, or we can manage our discomfort. And one of the favorite ways I like to manage my discomfort is with support, with help, with talking it out, right? Having another human normalize my experience, see me and witness me and support me. That's why I'm a huge believer in coaching, which, by the way, Sell with Heart next round starts July 5th in just about 2 weeks. So make sure you hop on a clarity call if you're looking for support. But also so getting support, right, from a coach, from a mentor, but also just in general, making sure I am like surrounding myself with influences that are positive and uplifting and helping me, right? Like I know for me, it's so much easier for me to manage my discomfort when I am taking care of my body, right? When my body is feeling good, when I'm able to like exercise, when I'm able to eat well, right? And so just asking yourself, like, am I priming myself to manage discomfort? Or is it like super easy for me to like, we all go into seasons of like buffering and numbing out, right? Whether it's with Netflix or whether it's whatever you use to numb out, right? And so I think it's like not making yourself wrong when you like get to a buffering phase, but instead asking yourself, okay, I'm numbing out, right? How do I want to instead manage my discomfort? What do I want to do to honor and manage my discomfort? Who do I need to talk to? How do I need to do that, right? How do I need to take care of myself better so that I can not avoid the discomfort, but like really survive it well. And again, a lot of times for me, that comes through other humans, whether that's friends or a coach. And I think that's so huge. Okay. Thank you so much for joining me. Again, if you are catching the replay, please let me know if you have any questions on this. And please set your beautiful money anchor. And I cannot not wait to, if you feel brave, feel free to write that in the comments, right? Feel free to share with me what that money anchor is for you, what that income ceiling is that you are trying to break through. And this is the thing, there's no judgment, whether it's 0 or 25K or 50K or 5K or 3K or 8K, like there's no judgment. And I think when we can just like say it without worrying about what others think, like, will they judge me because it's so high? Will they judge me because it's so low? I mean, I have people with this all the time, like in Sell with Heart, it's a mastermind, right? And so there's other women in the program, and I have women all the time say like, oh my gosh, I feel so embarrassed because I'm like the youngest one in the program, right? Or, oh, I'm so embarrassed because I'm the oldest one in the program. Or I feel so embarrassed because I feel like I'm like the newbie in the program. Or, oh, I feel like I'm so ahead of everyone. I think it's like, let's stop obsessing about like comparing ourselves to like where others are at, and instead just like be able to like be seen, right? And realize that like you can cheer someone on with like a lower income ceiling than you can cheer someone on with a higher income ceiling than you. I know for me, in my business. I have friends that like make way less than me, but they're like amazing friends. And I have friends that make like way more than me, and they're amazing friends. And like we still get a lot out of the friendship, right? Again, same thing about like the mastermind. There are women like at all levels working to grow their income and Sell with Heart, but they're able to cheer each other on and be in each other's corner and have their back for whatever it is that they're moving towards, right? And so if you feel courageous, I would love to hear what your income ceiling is, what your money anchor it is. Write it here to like start and initiate that money anchor. And then I want you to start writing it every day. Okay, every single day, I want you to write that down. I want you to type it as your password. I want you to put it on a sticky note. I have mine on like little, let me just show you mine. I can show you mine. They're like little index cards on the fridge. But surround yourself with it. And again, I'm glad that you watched this replay, but make sure you also catch this week's podcast episode on goals, because I think they align hand in hand. I'm telling you to get clear on that money anchor, but I'm also going to tell you to like hold it loosely. And like, if you don't meet your money anchor next month, you're not going to like beat yourself up for it or make it anything wrong for you, right? There's going to be a stretch, and there's going to be an in-between between when you set that money anchor and when you meet it, right? So it's normal that it takes time to meet it, right? And I think as like type A people, we want to meet the goal yesterday, right? And when we don't meet it, we make it mean something instead of like, no, actually, I'm going to set this pretty big goal and I'm going to reach for it and I am going to meet it, but it may take a little bit of failure along the way. It may take a little stretch along the way, but I'm in for it and I'm here for it, because the beautiful thing is, and the hard thing, once you meet it, there's going to be another goal. Right? There's like in business, there's always another goal. So like, let's just get comfortable in that in between, because spoiler alert, we're always in the in between, right? Certainly there are some seasons that are more grueling than others, but in many ways, we're always going to be in the in between goals, because when you meet a goal, you're going to set another goal, right? And so just getting comfortable in that stretch, normalizing that stretch, having people in your corner that are in that stretch. And that's what I hope next week's challenge is for you. So again, make sure you register for the challenge. And I'm so excited to hang out with you next week. Mark your calendar, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. This one was impromptu, so thank you for joining me. But I'm going to do noon PST, 3 p.m. EST, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday next week, going live and going to talk more in depth about the training you'll get in your daily email, and then also just be there to answer any questions that you have. Okay, my loves, thank you so much for hanging out, and hope you have a beautiful, beautiful rest of your Tuesday. Okay, I'll see you next week.